show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. I'm so excited because today we have Erica Angelo on the show, and she's a dating and relationship coach for both men and women. And she is also the author of Dating with a Point, and it's a great book for women. And ladies, after you hear this interview, you're going to want to go out and get this book. So welcome, Erica, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to do this with you.
I know, because today we are going to talk about the biggest mistakes women make in dating. And I know everybody likes to pretend they do everything right, but ladies, guess what? You do some things wrong. And because she works with a lot of men, Erica's going to tell you the mistakes that you make. But
how many guys actually expect a woman to admit that? The reason they think that they don't do anything wrong is because that means they have to take accountability. They have to be responsible for the decisions that they made. They would rather blame someone else rather than blaming themselves on the guys that they choose.
Before we get into it, Erica, why don't you tell us your background?
Right. So I started writing about dating and relationships back in 2008. A friend of mine said, Erica, you need to write about dating. And I said, why? That's so stupid. It's so easy. And he said, no, look at your girlfriends around you. How easy is it for them? And I said, oh my God, these women have constant drama. And he said, okay, you're on to something. Start writing about it. And so that's where it all started. And it's evolved into coaching and authoring books and my YouTube channel. So it's been a fun, exciting, loving ride.
That's awesome. And I think it's funny that you say that, like your friend was saying that there's constant drama. If anybody came to me and said, oh, dating is easy, I'd be like, yeah, you're lying, because it's not easy.
It absolutely is. And I disagree with what she said. Her friend told her that, look at your friends, how easy is it for them? And she's like, oh my God, it's constant drama, it's full of drama. It's because that's what they're choosing. That's the guys that they're deciding that they want to be with. There are guys out there that are not going to give them the drama. There are guys out there that are going to commit to them, who are going to love them, who are going to be loyal, who's going to be respectful to them. But they're not choosing those guys. And when she said, if someone approaches her and says that dating is easy, and she says you're lying, that's not. It's absolutely easy for women. Especially in today's society with all the different dating sites that there is. You got Tinder, you got Bumble, there's people who even meet up on Facebook and Instagram, and then you've got eHarmony and Match.com and many other dating sites that are similar to those. And if you look at the stats especially for online dating, is usually, I think it's 3 or 5 women to every one man. And the stats show that there are far more men swiping right than there are women. So that means women have many, many more options than men do. So granted, it's not easy for us men, but it is very easy for the women. And if they're getting a constant drama, it's because that's the guys that they are choosing.
Right. Some people really do. They really, really struggle with it. And so it's my job to work with them and take the struggle out of dating and introduce it to a fun, meaningful journey.
Yeah, well, that's great. So let's get into it. So tell us the 3 biggest mistakes women make when it comes to dating.
Okay, so when I'm working with my guys and they're like, what is it? One thing, women, that we do, and I am guilty of it myself. We have all done it.
Okay.
We look to men to validate our self-worth. Like, we come with this heart of neediness, and it's like, I need you to fill that. My empty love tank, it's your responsibility to fill that. And it just does not work. It's not their job to validate us. And
it really is not our job to validate them, but that's what they expect. They think they deserve that. They think they are entitled to that, and that is the issue. While her point sounds very nice, that women should be able to validate themselves, unfortunately, and I'm not talking about all women, so please do not misunderstand that, okay? because I do understand that just like there are good men out there are good women out there. Unfortunately, the good women are few and far between, because there are so many women these days who are taught all of these different manipulation tactics in order to get a guy to approach you. So this whole self-validation thing never even comes into play, because they have so many other options.
It's not their job to fulfill our self-worth. That's up to us.
That is so true, and I think that's really, really important. And how should a woman correct that, though? Because, like you said, everybody kind of does that. You look for validation from other people, especially on a date. So how can a woman correct that?
We correct it by spending time with ourselves. It's really that simple.
Really that simple. Like, you really just have to spend time by yourself to, figure out who you are as a person, to figure out, do I like this about myself, or is there anything about myself I don't like? And if there is something about yourself that you don't like, you have to fix that among yourself. No one else can fix that. But women are not going to spend that kind of time by themselves, because they already know they don't have to. They have plenty of other options to choose from. Even if they're chasing this Chad guy who's not giving them the commitment, he might give them a little bedroom fun every week or every couple of weeks. But when they're not getting attention from him, when they're not getting the attention from the guy they actually want, they still have all of this other validation coming in. They're not going to give them the bedroom fun, but they still have those guys validating who they are, so they don't have to work on themselves, because they have all of this other attention. No matter where they go, they can go to work, they're going to get attention. They go on any dating site, they're going to get attention. They can go to a bar, they're going to get attention. They can go to a club, they're going to get attention. And it may not be the kind of guy that they want to take home, but it is still attention that is giving them the validation that they need, which is why they don't know how to work on and validate themselves.
The more we get to know ourselves and validate ourselves by saying, what is it that makes me lovable? All these things that I'm looking for a guy to validate. Where am I not seeing that in myself? And really taking the time to spend time with yourself and validating yourself. Because really, it's your responsibility to be the best lover of you. So when I wake up in the mornings, I'm excited about me. I kiss me and hug me, and I look in the mirror, I'm like, damn, girl, you're looking good today.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Comes up to me and they're like, they give me compliments. Guess what, Suzanne? That's just overflow. That's not like me sitting with this empty love tank going, please fill me, please fill me, somebody please fill me. It's like, no, I am pouring into my self-love. And so if you come into my life, you get to be part of the overflow. But I'm not going to count on you to fulfill all of my self-worth. It's just not.
Guys, if you are looking to get out there and pursue a long-lasting relationship, please understand what these women say versus what they mean. All right, because when women are giving dating advice, they're gonna sound a lot like a politician. That sounds very nice. It really does. But the reality of that is, if you as a man are approaching a woman, you're complimenting her, even if you're not necessarily asking her out, if you're just approaching her and you're saying, hey, wow, you look really good today, or I like what you did with your hair, or I like that outfit that you got on, or whatever the case may be, and her response to that is that is overflow, or her mentality of that is that it is overflow, is because she's getting plenty of validation from other men. So if you're approaching a woman who has that type of mindset, understand she's not really interested in you. Because if she was, then she would actually try to carry on that conversation, and she may even return a compliment or two. But, oh, well, thank you. You know what? I really like that shirt you got, or I really like your hat, or, whatever. But when she says, that's overflow, that's because it's just an overflow of compliments that she's already getting from other guys. It's not from within. It's still from outside sources. It's just many other men. And you as a man, if you're pursuing a long-term relationship, do you really want a woman who is quote unquote overflowing with validation? Because again, that's a very, very telltale sign that she is being way over validated by many other men. And I mean, if that's what you want, by all means, knock yourself out. Me personally, I'm not interested in a woman who gets that much male attention.
Not gonna happen.
You know, I love that you say that, because one of the things that I tell women, well, both women and men, is no person can complete you. Someone can only compliment you. And I don't mean compliment like give you compliments. I mean compliment you like you compliment each other.
That's actually a very good point. Guys, like, especially guys, no woman can complete you. If you're one of these quote unquote good guys who are trying to do the right thing by your woman, you're trying to take care of her and everything like that, and you feel like she's your better half, understand she is not. Okay, you are still a whole person. You're the same person you were before she came along as you're going to be after she leaves, because she will. And in fact, if you're that type of guy and it leads into a marriage, I promise you when she leaves, you're going to be worse off than what you were before she came. You might be half of a person after she leaves, because she's going to take half of your stuff. But you're whole as a person before she came, because you established what you needed to establish on your own. You didn't need her for that. She didn't complete that. Like she said, she can only complement that. And if she's not going to complement that, don't pursue her. Let her go. Tell her, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw Jerry Maguire, and we saw the perfect Tom Cruise moment where he's like, you complete me. And we're all like walking around these big holes in our heart looking for that person to come into our life. And we're like, yes, you complete me. And it's like, no, it's not the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, you have to be happy with yourself in order for someone to love you for who you are, right?
That's actually very true from a male or female standpoint. If you as a woman, if you don't feel good about yourself, or you're not confident in yourself, because there's a lot of women out there who place their security, like everybody else is responsible for their insecurities. But at the same time, if you can't love who you are as a person, if you can't love what you have accomplished on your own, if you can't feel proud about who you are as a person, how can you expect anybody else to love you and be proud to have you with them? Same thing goes for a man who expects a woman to be his better half. Like if you're not happy in your life with what you have already accomplished, like, alright, so me personally, alright, I have a pretty decent job. I've worked my way up. I'm a blue collar guy. I don't make six figures a year, but I do make a good amount of money, or a decent amount of money for my lifestyle. And I'm able to afford a pretty nice home with a pretty nice yard. I've got 2 cars, a couple dogs. I've got a kid that I'm, very fully capable of taking care of, and that I actively spend a lot of time with. And so I've established my life as who I am. Like, so that's complete. No woman can complete what I have already accomplished. I'm still not where I want to be, but I've accomplished a great deal, and that still alone makes me whole as a person. So no woman can come in and complete that, because I've already completed that. I have the home, I have the job, I have the bills paid for, I have the cars, and I have the kid that I'm fully capable of taking care of, as well as being able to cook and clean and provide for him. So I don't need any woman to complete that. Only compliment it. That's all you can do. And if a woman is not going to compliment that, and you as a female, if a man is not going to compliment your lifestyle or the way you are, and I say that if you're coming, like, from my standpoint, where you built your own stuff on your own. You have your house, you have a job, you have kids, you have a car, and, you're paying your own way, and you literally do not need a man to pay your bills and don't want him to. That's the kind of women I'm talking about, because these days a lot of women expect a man to pay everything, and I'm talking about the women who say, no, I don't need you to pay for this, I've already got it. If you're coming into my life, you're just adding to what I've already built. And that's the way men and women need to view dating and relationships. Only accept the people who are going to add to what you have already built.
It's not easy. That it has taken me a lifetime. And if I'm very transparent, there are still places inside of me that come up that I'm like, oh my God, I feel really unlovable in these places. And so whether it's through my friends or the people that I'm, my mentors, that I really open up those places and get vulnerable and say, I hurt here. I don't feel loved here. And really pay attention to that and make an effort to bring love to those areas.
I think that's a great point, because nobody's 100% perfect. So it's about self-awareness, though, and knowing when you need to work on certain areas and not trying to fool yourself and being like, oh, I'm fine.
That's actually very true. Nobody is 100% perfect. But yeah, if you ask so many women, you say, on a scale from 1 to 10, what do you consider yourself? The majority of them are going to say a 10. And a 10 would be absolutely perfect, meaning there's no way you can improve yourself. And like this lady just said, nobody is absolutely perfect. So nobody is a 10. Their looks alone may make them a 10. But then you got to count in the personality as well. Which, if they're a 10 in looks, usually the personality is going to decrease the points.
It's true. And sometimes we have to get unbusy to do that. If we're so busy moving around, it's like we have these wounds that are screaming, I need attention, I need help, I need love. But we're like, oh, but I've got to go to the gym, I've got to go this. No. You have to become unbusy and really spend time to be aware of what's going on.
Exactly.
That is clearly a message to women, all right? Because, and guys, again, understand what these women are saying when they say what they do. She said, like she just said, oh, I'm wounded, I'm hurt, I need attention. And basically, okay, they're wounded and they're still stuck on the Chad that would not commit to them. Yet when they talk about they got to go to the gym and they got to do that, it's because they're trying to find something to fill that void in their life that they are not able to fill on their own. Or like when men have hobbies, we have hobbies because we're actually interested in those things. Women have hobbies because they have nothing else to do and they're trying to get the guy off of their mind.
Exactly. So what's your second biggest mistake that women make?
They don't make effort. I know this is going to be like, oh!
I know.
Okay, so I have lots of guys that I work with and lots of women. Do you know that when it comes to online dating, that a guy has to send at least 10 different messages to women before he will ever get the response? Now, I know we get with our girlfriends and we're like, that asshole's not calling me back and he's not doing that. And we talk about all the things that men aren't doing. But I'm telling you, ladies, I work with these men and they are putting a lot of effort. But what they're saying back to us is, we're not putting a lot of effort. And so,
do you see why I say that women have it easy when it comes to dating? And men have it hard? Like she said, a man has to send 10 different messages before he gets a reply. And guys, I honestly do not recommend online dating because that, unless you're into the hookup culture. If you're into that, by all means, because that's all online dating is good for now. And even if you look at eHarmony and dating or Match.com, and they require membership, and a lot of the other sites I'm sure do too. But you end up paying a membership, and basically what you're gonna find is that the women that are on there are only looking for something casual. No, there are very, 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 very few women on there that are actually looking for something real or something long-lasting. And those are usually not the kind of women who look like this. And again, I'm not speaking anything bad about this woman. I'm not saying that she's out there pursuing that, but there are a lot of women that look like her that think because they are good looking that they can get any guy they want. So they go on online dating and they're enjoying their bedroom fun, their bachelorette life, while, hooking up with all of these different guys. And then when they hit 30s and 40s and they start asking, well, why are guys not committing to me? That's why. Because they already know you done been around the block several times and they ain't interested in that. They're like, nah, thank you very much. I'm good. I'd rather be single than deal with whatever it is you're carrying.
We'll sit there and wait. If we see a guy that we're interested in, we're like, I'm just going to wait until he comes and talks to me. And I just don't agree with that. I believe in making the effort. And if you see a guy that you're interested in, I have done this on numerous occasions, and it's gotten me a lot of dates where I don't believe in asking guys out. But if I see a good-looking guy, I'm going to say, wow, you are great looking. And just to say that with boldness and confidence, and I've had guys say, I wish more women would do that. I'm shocked that you as a woman have done that. So,
because we are shocked when women do that, because women don't do that. Not typically. And like when she's talking about, if she sees a good looking guy that she's attracted to, she's going to approach him. Do you think a woman like that, and again, I'm not saying anything personally towards this woman, but women who look like her and stuff, do you think women like that are going to be approaching an average looking man saying, hey, you're a really good looking guy, I'm into you? No. And then they want to turn around and they want to complain that men are not approaching them. And that's because the men that they are looking for are the top 10%. If you're under 6 feet, they're not interested in you. If you make less than 6 figures a year, they're not interested in you. If you don't have a nice house and a nice car, they're not interested in you. If you're not willing to pay for everything for them and make them number one priority, then they're not into you. They're not going to be into the average. And a lot of guys who are watching YouTube, and I can say this because I'm one of them, a lot of guys who are watching YouTube are blue-collar guys who are average-looking guys. That doesn't mean that they cannot pull women. That doesn't mean that they can't attract women. But what it means is like women like this are not going to approach you. And actually, women are not going to approach you, period, because you're an average-looking guy and you're a blue-collar guy at that. All right. So when she's talking about women making effort, that's where you really, really need to make an effort. Because the really good guys, the guys who are going to give you what you want, the guys who are going to treat you the way you want to be treated, are the guys that you are not putting in that kind of effort for.
Make an effort. If you see something that you like, say something, do something about it, and just don't hold your pillow at night hoping and wishing and praying, that he's going to come through. No, make an effort. Go say hello.
I think that's a great point because I've done that where I've complimented a guy, and guys love compliments just as much as women do. And women don't realize if they would just compliment a guy, he's just like, oh my God, they will love it.
There's a difference in that though. I mean, even if they love it just as much as women do, the difference is men appreciate it more. Because women usually get that. Women usually get the compliments. Women, they get that on a daily basis, or at least, women that look like these two. They get that on a daily basis. Wow, you look really good. Wow, you're really hot, or this or that. So they get that all the time. Whereas guys, especially average-looking blue-collar guys, we don't get that. How many women are walking up to you being like, wow, you look really good today in your dirty jeans at work, The thing is like the average-looking guys, they're not bad-looking guys. They're just not as attractive as the top 10% of the chads that most women are chasing these days. And when women, think about what they deserve, They base what they deserve on the best guy that they were able to get. So if they were able to get bedroom fun from one of these Chads, anything less than that is not going to be good enough. And so you, as an average looking guy, you have to, you're automatically responsible for that. Because that's the standard she expects you to reach. If you're not as good looking as this guy, well, she deserves better than you because she got this guy. Even if he didn't commit, even if he didn't give her the love or attention or affection that she wanted, because of the way he looked, if you don't look like that, she deserves better than you. And that's how they base that on. That doesn't mean you're going to get a good guy. You got to pick which one you want, because you're not going to get one and the same. You can't get the Chad and expect him to commit. You can't get the guy who is willing to commit and expect him to be a Chad. You have to pick one. You're not, and you can't have both. Because the guys that are willing to commit don't want to share his woman with anyone else. I wouldn't. And I don't know any other man who would.
They do. They eat it up, and they're just like, hey, and every time they ask for my phone number, they ask me out. I don't do any of that stuff. I still let them be the man. I let them pursue me, but I also put some effort into it as well by saying, hey, boy, I got my eye on you.
And you know that I love that you say that, because that's one of the tips I give my women is you just have to open the door. That's all you need to do. And then once you open the door, he will run with it.
Right.
That actually is very, very true. And it goes back to what this one here, Erica said about, guys saying, I'm surprised that you did that. I wish more women would do that. And, the point that she made, just kind of goes in with that. If you as a woman, if you're complaining that guys are not approaching you anymore, what are you doing to open that door? Because and I'm not a dating coach, but these women claim to be, or at least say that they are. If you're a dating coach, you have to be able to see it from both perspectives, okay? Which means if you're trying to teach a woman how to get guys to approach you, you also got to be able to understand how guys think when it comes to the approach. Because, and especially for an average looking guy. Because, if you're a Chad, if you're the top 10%, you're a really good looking guy, you've got 6 figures and you've got a mansion in Beverly Hills or whatever. He could walk up to any woman he wants to and get her number. Alright? But for the average looking guy, he already knows he can't do that. Alright? And then if you're not putting in any effort, if you're not giving him a reason to make him think that you're interested in him, then why would he approach you? And at the same time, if you're not putting in any effort, don't be complaining that guys are not approaching you. Because you are not opening the door. If you want, you say, well, guys, just shoot your shot. Just shoot your shot. And I've even heard some women say, even if you fail, which is really kind of a pointless in shooting a shot, really. Because me personally, I'm not going to do it unless I feel like there's a high probability of success. Meaning, even if I like you, even if I think you're a really good looking woman, if I don't feel like you're interested in me, if you have not given me one reason to think that you are interested in me, I'm not going to ask you out. I'm not going to ask for your phone number until I see that. And I would encourage any other man who is looking for a long-term relationship to have that kind of mindset. Not necessarily think like me. You're free to do whatever it is you want to do. But if you're pursuing a long-term relationship, then you need to be pursuing the ones who are putting in the equal amount of effort across the board. Because if you get a woman who is expecting you to make the move, she's expecting you to approach her, and for no reason at all, that's the type of woman who is going to expect you to manage everything in the relationship for no reason at all. And that doesn't really give men much incentive to want to pursue that.
It's so true. And
Okay.
so for my third one, now I may have some women who get pissed off with me, but
That's all right.
it's
You
okay.
can't. You can't make everybody happy.
I'm just doing it because I love you and I want you to find love and be fulfilled in your love life. But ladies, we are doing too much talking and not enough acting. What do I mean by that? When we're with our girlfriends, what do? I mean, I can go hiking. I live here in Los Angeles and we have canyons and all, and I'll go hiking. And I guarantee you, Suzanne, every time I'm out for a hike, there's some woman bitching, complaining about her love life. And it's like, you're not a victim. Stop it. Stop complaining and take action. Do something about it. And if it's not working, get out of it. But ladies, we have to get out of victim mode and we have to quit complaining and doing so much talk and really make the effort. Put some action. You should be doing far more online dating than you're spending time gossiping with your girlfriends. Like,
or complaining.
I mean, the reason that's so funny is because she started off this little part here about, she's doing this because she wants you to find love. She cares about you. She wants you to find love. And then she's going to turn around and suggest that in order to do so, you do less complaining and more online dating. And as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to find love in online dating. It does not matter which dating site you go to. It doesn't matter what ad they promote to you. Oh, this percentage of couples on our site have found love. Don't buy that, okay? Because if you actually get into the site, you'll realize the majority of the people that are there for something casual. They're not there for anything long term. All right. And the other part of that though is actually a very good point that she said. Stop playing the victim. You are not the victim in this, okay? If you're complaining about your love life, you are not the victim. You chose the person you were with as a woman. You chose that guy, okay? So if he didn't give you what you want, blame yourself because you picked him. You picked him over the guys who were going to treat you right. So stop playing the victim and start taking responsibility.
Or complaining. If you're talking 2 hours about like your dating woes, but yet you're not dating, you're not doing it right, baby girl. Get to acting. Quit talking so much.
And I love that you say that because this is what I tell my female clients, well, female and male clients, is to be proactive instead of reactive. I can't stand that. It's like, it's exactly what you said is stop playing victim. It's like, quit complaining and start doing something about it because you're not a victim. You're in control of your own life, right?
Yes, and you become so powerful. I'll tell a small little story. I work with coaches for my own life, and my coaches, I got married really young, and all my life I had like this victim mentality because I was divorced after 7 years, and it was like, I wasted my life. And my mentor got up in my face like this, and he said, Erica, take responsibility. You walked down that aisle, you said yes to that marriage, and oh my God, first it pissed me off, and I wanted to punch him in the face. I'm like, you don't talk to me like that, okay, homeboy? Love on me not to talk to me that way. But
you see how women act when they're held responsible for their decisions? I mean, like she said, she was in all her life, she was in victim mode. She was in this 7-year marriage or whatever, and the second somebody says, well, you chose that, you could have said no, but you said yes. You didn't have to walk down that aisle, but you did. You knew this guy was bad, but you went after it anyway, thinking that you were going to change him. And the second somebody held her accountable for that, and any other woman for that matter, the second you hold her accountable for it, she's going to get defensive. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't talk to me like that. You can't put the blame on me. I didn't cheat on me, but you chose the guy who was cheating on you. You didn't choose a guy who wouldn't cheat on you. You didn't choose a guy who was going to stay committed to you. You didn't choose him. You chose a guy who had other options. You knew he had other options before you got into that marriage. but you did it anyway. Because you thought you were going to change him. And when you didn't, you started looking for someone else to help you play the victim card. Because like she said, she got defensive. You can't talk to me that way. You're supposed to love on me. You can't tell me it was my fault. You're supposed to make it feel like I'm the victim.
Afterwards, when I realized, oh my gosh, I have a responsibility in this. I took action. I did this. I created this. And I have the mess to clean up. And it was like, at first it hurt and it felt like I was slapped in the face. But oh my God, Suzanne, I felt so powerful. I like had these like muscles inside that I was like, wait a minute, I did.
I hate to cut her off. I really do. I try to wait for them to stop talking, but there's so much talking, it's hard to do it. But she said, it felt like a slap in the face, and the truth of it is, it was just a slap of reality. It wasn't a slap in the face, it was just the truth. You had a choice, and that's what you chose. So don't complain about it. Don't play the victim card because you picked it. You could have picked a better man, but you didn't.
Did go into that marriage. That was my responsibility. I could have said no. I could have walked out sooner. I felt so much more powerful when I took responsibility for that.
Well, and I love that you said that, because this is the other thing that I tell my clients is, stop blaming the other person, because you're 50% of the equation. And it's your interactions with that other person that make what happens, right? It's not just...
No, that is not true. You as a man, it is not... In a way, it kind of is... because if you're a nice guy, your interactions with that woman is going to make her... or going to give her reasons to take advantage of you. But that is not to put 50% of the blame on you, because you were doing what you thought you were supposed to do as a man. Alright? So that still is basically 100% responsibility on the woman. And I'm not saying that in every case, because there are some men out there who are bad men, who are the F-boys, who do not deserve that type of commitment. Alright? So those types of guys do things that result in a woman leaving the situation. Whereas the good guys who are trying to commit, he's giving her the love, he's giving her the attention, he's giving her the affection, he's giving her the respect, and anything else that he could possibly think of to make her happy, and yet she's just taking and taking and taking and taking, and ends up taking it for everything he's worth, and overall taking advantage of him. How is he 50% responsible for that? If he was doing what he was supposed to do and the woman was not, how is he responsible for what she did? That is taking accountability away from the women who do bad things. And we as a society have got to stop doing that.
Just the other person.
Right. Either you're enabling them or you're just not walking away. You're staying in a pile of poop and you're just like, I want this poop to turn to gold. If I just put it around, it's going to turn to gold. No, you got to walk out of it.
That's the chat she's talking about. Standing in a pile of poop waiting for it to turn to gold. Because the guy, and it goes back to what, she said about you are 50% part of that equation. When I talked about the Chads who do bad things, that's what I was talking about. Okay, but those are the guys that women are putting in the effort for. Those are the guys that women are sticking around for. So again, that's 100% on the woman. She chose to chase that guy. Whereas the guy who wanted to commit to her, the guy, like she said, she's waiting for poop to turn to gold. The guys who come up automatically, shining like gold, they're turning them down because they're not as attractive as these bad boys who are not committing to them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's a great point. So let's talk about the 3 biggest complaints that you hear from men about women.
My guys, I tell you what, this is what they say over and over and over is women aren't clear. We are not clear. And once again, guilty of this, totally guilty of it. As a dating coach, still guilty of this. We are not clear. Meaning this, they come up to you, they're interested in you, they ask for your phone number, we give it to them. And then we tell our girlfriend, I'm not interested in them. Well, hell, if you're not interested in them, don't give him your phone number. I still do it. I'm still wrong in this area. It's bad, bad, bad. I need to stop doing it as well. I can't.
And you women wonder why men do not approach you anymore. Alright? Because, and it goes back to what I said earlier. If you are going to be a dating coach for men and women, you need to be able to understand things from a man's perspective as well. And women do not understand what goes through the mind of a man who is considering whether or not he wants to approach this woman. Alright? Because if he's approaching this woman, women have this entitlement that because they look the way they look, or because they're dressed the way they look, or whatever the case may be regarding their looks, they think men are just supposed to approach them anyway, automatically, that those women are not supposed to have to do anything, even if they are in fact interested in the man who wants to approach them. Alright? But say, when a man has to go through the dilemma of whether or not we should or should not approach a woman, those are the main things that we have to consider. Is she actually interested or is she not? Is she going to say yes or is she going to say no? Is she going to laugh in my face or is she going to laugh with her friends or both? And like this lady said, they would give her phone number, or she would give them her phone number, and then, turn to her friends and say, I wasn't really interested. So now they're going to make you out to be a joke. Alright? And you as a man, even if you walk away with a phone number, you walk away from that approach thinking, alright, I got her number, alright, it worked. But then you text her, or you try to call her, and you don't get an answer or a response, and you're like, what the hell? And I mean, 2 days later, you still don't get a response, and you're like, oh, what the hell? She gave me her number, but she's not responding. She gave me her number, but she's not answering my phone calls. Like, what the hell? So that kind of really messes with a guy's mind. You're literally playing with a man's emotions when you do that. And a dating coach, like, when they're sitting there smiling about this stuff, like, they really don't seem to understand that. Is when you do that, it's not only not being clear as a woman, you are playing with his emotions in a very serious way, because you basically led him on and shut him down at the same time. You made him think there was a shot, and then ghosted him right afterwards. And you wonder why men do not approach women anymore. This is why. Why should we? If that's what we're going to get.
You can't just say, I'm learning. I'm getting better at just saying, I don't think so, but thank you so much. But we're not clear, we give mixed signals, we'll flirt, but then we'll pull back, or we don't respond to text messages. Ladies, we need to be very clear in our communication, our body language, what it is that we want. Another thing is, you can't go around dressing like a slut and like having your boobies hanging out everywhere and then be like, I don't want to have sex with you. Well, you're screaming sex. You're like, I ooze sex, but please don't touch me. And it's like, get very clear and be very aware. What you said earlier, Susan, that's brilliant. Be very aware of what you're communicating. Be very clear of it all.
And that's a great point, because this is what I tell women too. On a first date, if you wear the sexiest dress that you can and you have everything hanging out and showing, you're sending the wrong message, because all the guy's thinking is, I'm going to get lucky tonight. And right? I would say, you don't have to go like a nun to a first date, but don't reveal everything. Just reveal a little bit more as you keep going out, right?
The thing about that is, if you are as a man are taking a woman out on a date, and she's dressing very provocative, like this lady stated that, everything hanging out, very skimpy outfit, but then she's telling you not to touch her, And she says, well, you're sending the wrong message. No, she's sending the exact message she wants to send. She wants the guy to, think that if he keeps trying, he might get lucky. Or keep taking her out on these fancy dates so that she gets all this free food and all these free expensive meals. But she's not actually interested in that guy. She's not actually, interested in a relationship with that guy. Because what she's doing is, once you drop her off, if you go on a date with a girl like that, she's dressing very provocative, and then she's telling you not to touch her. When you drop her off after that very nice dinner date, because usually if that's what you're getting as a man, it usually means you took her out to a very, very nice restaurant. And she's like, well, I've never been treated to such a nice restaurant, because the guys they chase take them to McDonald's and Burger King and stuff. And again, it kind of comes down to the whole attraction thing. But the guys that they're actually attracted to, those guys are not taking them out to fine dining restaurants. So if she's dressing provocative for you and then telling you not to touch her at the same time, that's how you know she's only in it for the meal. Walk away. And not only walk away, let her pay her half of the bill. Because, you as a man, you have to take pride in yourself. You have to be respectful of yourself first. Okay? Do not let a woman dress like that and then tell you not to touch her and then expect you to pay for the entire dinner date. Be like, okay, well, if you're going to dress like that and I can't even touch you, and that basically makes me feel like we're in the friend zone, so that means I'm paying my way, you're paying your way. And after this day, I'm never going to talk to you again. That's how you as a man need to see that. Because this woman has said, you're sending the wrong message. She knows exactly the message she is sending you. Because if she's telling you not to touch her, it's because once she gets home, she's going to call up this guy she's actually interested in at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's going to go over to his house for some Netflix and chill and bedroom fun, wearing the exact same outfit, and he's going to be able to touch it. Whereas you're not, because all you were providing for her was the dinner date. You see what I'm saying? Like, you were not the priority. You were not the interest. You were just the backup. She wanted the free dinner date, so she dressed like this to make you keep taking her out. So that even if you didn't get lucky, even like she said, you're sending the wrong message, this guy thinking he's going to get lucky. That's the message she's trying to send to you. It's because she wants you to keep taking her to better and better restaurants, thinking that eventually one day you're going to get that shot. You're never going to get that shot because she's already given that shot to someone else. The only difference is he's not taking her to the same dinner dates that you're taking her to. You see what I'm saying? Like, so she's getting the bedroom fun from one guy, and she's getting a very nice dinner date from you.
Absolutely. And the other thing they say is that us women, once again, what I said earlier, we don't make enough effort. I have had guys who are like, I've written to this girl like 5 times on Match.com, and she's never written me back. But yet that same woman will be complaining, no one ever hits on me. And I watch women do this. And it's,
see what I mean? Like, she's mentioned the guy messaged a woman 5 times, and then that same woman is complaining that nobody is giving her attention. Somebody's giving you attention. It's just not the guy you want.
It's like, if you have all these men hitting on you, but you're not following through with it. So make some effort. Don't just complain about like what's not working, but find out what is working and make some effort. Work with it. If someone's messaging you on Match.com, go with it. Go on the date, but make some effort. Put some work into your love life.
Now, what if a woman says, because as we all know, or maybe we don't know, you and I probably know because we work in this business, but the women out there probably don't know, is that women get tons of messages. And
said, you and I both know because we work in this business, but women might not know that women get tons of messages. Believe me, women know that, okay? And that's why, like I stated earlier, that women will never be alone with themselves to validate themselves, is because they have all of this attention from many other sources. And you don't have to be a dating coach to know that. In fact, men know that, or men should know that. The women are getting tons of messages. So men, if you're sending a woman one message, and again, I do not recommend sending 5. If you are sending one message and you do not get a reply, understand she is talking to someone else. So move on.
And so what if a woman says to you, well, I didn't find him attractive? Do you suggest that, you know what, just be open and just start communicating with them?
Definitely, because we get into a box sometimes and we're like, I want this, I have to have this. And we really don't know until we venture out and go on the date. And I have done this where I have seen a guy and I'm like, not really my cup of tea. But then once we start talking, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's hilarious. He's bright. He's ambitious. He's driven. So it's like, girlfriend, if you're playing with an empty deck and you have nothing going on, say yes to that date. Say yes to getting to know him. Because
how messed up is that? Is like, if you as a guy, if you were interested in a woman and she came right out and told you that very thing right there, that she didn't have anything else going on, which is why she said yes to you, she automatically was not physically attracted to you. But because she didn't have anything else going on, she said yes. How would you feel about that? And it really kind of goes back to what I stated earlier when I was talking about the difference in the guys that they chase versus the guys who are actually approaching them. Like, they're chasing the guys who are just have the good looks and maybe have the good, a lot of money and a big house and stuff. But then when they don't have any options, when they decide to settle for this guy that they're not attracted to, they realize that he's hilarious and he's smart, he's ambitious, he's driven. And most men are, because that's how we were raised. But those qualities are often overlooked based on how you see us. Regardless of the fact that you're hilarious and you're smart and you're ambitious and you're driven, the one thing she's going to look at is the fact that you are not as attractive as the guy that she was able to get.
I'll say this, the universe honors action. Life is about momentum. Life is about moving forward. So the minute we become stale and complacent, we have stopped living. So if it's talking to a guy that you don't really think is cute, you're telling the universe, hey, I'm getting off my ass and I'm making an effort. Even if I don't think this guy is attractive, I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to go on the date just to show that I'm putting action out there.
What man wants to feel like he's a stepping stone to get what she actually wants? Because that's what that sounds like to me. When she says, the universe likes action, and even if it's a guy that you're not attracted to, put in the effort so that the universe sees that you are trying. Basically meaning, you as a woman, if you're not attracted to this man, put in the effort, make the universe see that you are trying, so that the universe will provide you with the kind of man that you actually want. Meaning, the guy that you are giving that time and attention to is not the guy you want. He is just a stepping stone to get to the guy that you want. And you as a man, how would you feel about that if you knew that's where you were? Would that make you more ambitious to pursue a relationship? Or would that make you step back and be like, wait a minute, really? That's how you see me? Like, which one would you, how would you feel about that?
I think that's a really, really great point because when you get out there and you start dating, it actually puts you in a different mind space and it makes you more relaxed and you come across less desperate because you're doing something. And then you attract more men, whether you know it or not. You're sending out a different message to the universe.
Right.
So is there another mistake, or not mistake, but is there another thing that men complain to you about women?
Yeah, they say that we ladies, we become way too needy. I had a friend share with me a story how she, like, this woman had, like, slept with this man way too soon and then all of a sudden was like, well, why isn't he there when I need him? And it's like, wait a minute, you haven't established any, like, major intimacy with this guy. You had sex with him way too fast, and now you want him to be there at your beck and call. And it's like, that's not his responsibility. And you...
This is why I tell you guys, if you're going into a date and she's dressed up provocative and she tells you not to touch her, that's why I say make her pay her own meal and walk out. Because understand, she has given it up to a guy that she was actually interested in. And she didn't make him put in all that effort. In fact, he wasn't putting in any effort. But she did so in order to tie him down. Because that's the guy she actually wanted. That's how you know she doesn't really want you.
You chose to enter into intimacy too quickly. That was your responsibility. And now you're expecting him to fulfill these needs. So ladies, it's once again, it's filling up that love tank. When we go to men, it's not going out with like these open hands of going, please pour into me, please. I need you to fix me, please fix me, please love me. No.
Well, and I think that's a really, really good point about when a woman sleeps with a guy too soon and then she becomes needy, is women tie emotions to having sex, whereas men can have sex and they can have no emotional tie to you whatsoever.
Whoa, that is completely wrong. That is completely wrong. I mean, this Erica lady just explained that her friend had slept with this guy and then wondered why he didn't want to commit to her, and basically that's what women would use it, like that's a tool, alright? If you're using that as a way to get a guy to commit to you, that is not emotional ties. That is a tool to get what you want. And that's what women use it for these days. They, like, men who are actually seeking a long-term relationship, and me being one of them, I can say that, like, to me, the bedroom fun is an emotional tie. Like, I am not going to give it up to you unless I know for a fact that we are in a committed relationship and I don't have to worry about you leaving me for anyone else. And, a bunch of other things that kind of go into that. But if I don't feel like we're in a committed, loyal, long-term relationship, I'm not going to give it to you. So it is absolutely an emotional tie for me and for most men. But the guys that she is referring to is the Chads, or the top 10% of guys who have other options. That's why it's not emotional to them. Because if a woman gets emotional about it, if she starts getting needy, he can be like, you know what? He goes to her, and he can go to one of these other women who are willing to give him the same thing without the drama.
Face it, ladies, I know a lot of women out there have done it. I've done it. I don't know if you've done it, Erica, but thinking that, if I have sex with him, that's what's going to get him to want to be with me. That's not what's going to get him to want to be with you. You may...
See? That is not... See? Alright, that's what I mean. It's like, this is why I tell you guys, do not take dating advice from women. Like, she says, women view bedroom fun as an emotional tie, whereas men do not. What she stated there was clearly proving that women use it as a tool. She used it as a way to get a guy to commit, but he's not going to commit no matter what you do. And again, and as I stated earlier at the beginning of this video, that comes all around back to the decisions that the women make. They chose that guy. They didn't choose a good guy who was going to give them the emotional ties that they want. No, they used the bedroom fun as a tool to land the guy that every other woman wants. Because they want to be the one girl who gets him to commit